Bitcoin very close to a little drop. Be prepared for this little drop I'm going to show you on these short-term charts. But in this video, I also want to discuss the macro long-term charts. I want to zoom out for a second and show you why Bitcoin is so ultimately bullish. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that subscribe and like on the way in, and let's jump into the video. Here we go. Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. We're going to talk about this. This is what's going on. This is what to look for today, tomorrow, what to be prepared for in terms of downside targets, even upside targets. But we're going to also pivot to the weekly and the daily chart to discuss why Bitcoin is really beginning to look very bullish in terms of heading into that bull cycle that we've waited years for. So let's do this. 4-hour chart. Here's a symmetrical triangle we talked about towards the end of last week. Bitcoin, we timeline-wise had just the apex, 74% to the apex breakout area tomorrow, right? Right there. We were anticipating that. Bitcoin did something else. It broke to the upside a little sooner. Ultimately, what Bitcoin is currently doing after the swing high to the upside is we're testing the upper trend line, right? Towards the apex of this triangle. It's something we love to see in terms of symmetrical triangles for kind of this conservative bullish confirmation. Conservative because many people will go long here when Bitcoin begins breaking this previous swing high. We're breaking out of the triangle. But what we look for is support at this revisit of the trend line for conservative bullish confirmation. Yet we're yet to see if that's going to happen, but it's what we can watch today in the coming hours. So breakout target to the upside very much in play, $14,600. And then to the downside, if this apex fails, right? If we don't see support here, to the downside, 12,200. And that's going to play into these long-term charts I want to show you. Bitcoin very well, and I think it's more likely, actually, that Bitcoin comes down, not only to $12,000, but just slightly below it. And I think this could be the setup for really the most bullish move for Bitcoin, the pivot, the explosion into the bull market. And I'm going to get some comments because we're here, right? We're testing 14,000 previously, and I'm talking about Bitcoin coming back down. I know there's going to be people that are saying I'm bearish. Everyone, I'm not bearish at all. I'm just realistic in terms of what's going on in the Bitcoin charts. I tweeted the other day, I'd be very surprised if Bitcoin continues up before consolidating. You know, we're getting a very similar move actually to what we saw back in August area. Remember this head and shoulders we tracked on Bitcoin. The neckline was sitting right around 11,140. We broke to the downside. I'm looking for kind of something very similar. Bitcoin on this short-term chart, on the 4-hour chart, maybe stalling out a little bit, right? And running out of energy, running out of momentum, and we kind of start trickling back down before we get that true continuation to the upside. We could continue up right now. And again, I'd be very surprised if we do, but just on the short term, just anticipate Bitcoin fails, especially with elections tomorrow. A lot of unknown, a lot of fear, uncertainty. What's going to happen with the markets and with Bitcoin? We could very well hit our target down here close to $12,000. Be prepared for a move like that. Let's go over here now to the weekly charts. So here's a couple things going on. We've tracked this very much. The swing high, bull market high, last summer lower high, and we really were discussing what's going to go on here. Are we going to get a lower high here? Even so much as we were taking this swing high in August to a swing low and tracking this Fibonacci retracement right here, a very key resistance area for Bitcoin that Bitcoin failed last summer at that area and actually failed at the bull market high at that exact area. And this was our first bullish confirmation long-term, everyone, that Bitcoin's looking really good. Bitcoin broke through it like crazy. It broke through it. And currently, if we start looking at weekly closes, Bitcoin just is pretty much, we've put in a higher high from last summer, and it's extremely bullish for Bitcoin. And I say that even knowing, and actually myself thinking, Bitcoin's getting ready to test the 20-week moving average. We're talking down here around $11,000. And again, people are going to call me bearish, right? Because I'm talking about price range wise, a dip of 18, 20% to test this area. But I couldn't be more bullish, everyone. These dips happen for Bitcoin. What is key in terms of analyzing these charts is what happens at the dip, right? So for instance, the swing high last summer, Bitcoin did dip, right? from that swing high to the 20-week moving average, and it failed miserably, right? This was just a bearish confirmation. We're going to see downside. Again, at the bull market high all the way back here, 2017 and 2018, Bitcoin dipped into that 20-week moving average right here, that green line. It failed miserably, and that was like a true confirmation of just entering that bear market environment. So what we're looking for now isn't so much on the short term, oh, like a 20% dip is so bearish. Everyone, it happens. You got to get used to it. What we're looking for is, if it does happen, do we see support at the 20-week moving average? Because if we zoom out on the charts, in a bullish environment, this is what Bitcoin does on the weekly chart. We see support over and over again, even after huge dips in an uptrend, exactly at the 20-week moving average. So can Bitcoin, if it dips, see support at that green line, the 20-week moving average? That's what we're looking for Bitcoin, currently around $11,000. If we go to the daily chart, there's a lot of boxes here on this chart, and this could start, right? Bitcoin can begin its way down into this area, right, and down into the 20-week moving average area. It could start here on this 4-hour chart, with Bitcoin breaking down, hitting its first target of 12,000. And these boxes, what I've talked about on this channel before, a really key support area, right? Just above, and let me just mark this for you. This is right around where the 20-week moving average is. Right now we're on the daily chart, but this is that area we're looking for. And just above that, you can see Bitcoin has a lot of support. And what that support is are key Fibonacci retracement areas. Number one, a swing high in August to the swing low in September that Bitcoin previously gave us that very, very key bullish confirmation, just breaking through like crazy. That's right here, right? That is now support for Bitcoin. And we're talking about 11,900 to 11,400. That's one key Fibonacci retracement. And then the other one on maybe a slightly shorter term chart is our previous swing low consolidation that we had mid-October, a couple weeks ago, to our previous swing high. And you can see Bitcoin with its other Fibonacci retracement for Bitcoin to come back down and test support is right here. And we're talking about 11,800 to right around 12,300. So we have two key Fibonacci retracements. And if we just get rid of the two Fibonacci retracements, we have kind of this average support area. This is the range. So the range really is 11,400 to 12,200. And it's an interesting range because this breakout target for Bitcoin on this symmetrical triangle is right there, 12,200, right? So if we go back to this daily chart, we can see this is that area right here, breakout target. And then just below that is $11,000, a 20-week moving average, slightly below the bottom range of these Fibonacci retracements. So everyone, I'm telling you, and this is just my opinion, right? Don't take this as financial advice. Do your own research. This is some data points I'm sharing with you. But in terms of what Bitcoin's going to do next, I truly have a feeling, based on historical context of Bitcoin charts, that Bitcoin's going to come down and revisit at the very least these areas, going down to this $11,000 area at the 20-week moving average. To the downside, we're looking at anything from an 8% dip to 15 to 20% dip to the downside. A lot of volatility potentially in play, but it could be the absolute best, most healthy setup for Bitcoin to enter into that bull market, especially if after this next week. And the timing is so interesting. This next week of unknown, next couple of days of unknown, if markets, take a little dip, if traditional markets recover, if all markets recover, Bitcoin recovers, Bitcoin, I think, will very much bounce off of this area. It will be interesting. I tweeted the other day, if Bitcoin doesn't actually come down from here, I'd be very surprised if it keeps going. I really would. That's not to say, if we go to the weekly chart, that there's not room for it. There is plenty of room, everyone, for Bitcoin on the momentum oscillator to just keep going, right? We know historically all the way up here, 80 plus on the RSI is usually where Bitcoin is overbought, and we're just not there yet. Bitcoin is just hovering around the 70 line. There's so much room for upside for Bitcoin. So it could very much happen. Just be prepared for every scenario. Be prepared for that 15 to 20% dip, because kind of from my charts, it's just looking like it's very, very plausible and possible. So wanted to share that with you today as we get this week started. And on the short term, this is what you want to watch for. Just this symmetrical triangle, what kind of targets are going to be hit, what kind of support is going to be had right here at this upper trend line now. So appreciate you. Have an awesome start to your week. I'll see you in the next video. Hit that subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Have a good day, and God bless.